I have a couple quick things to go over, and then most of the time is going to be spent by you showing Mrs. Aubin and I that you are super duper amazing readers. All right. That's what you're going to show me today. And we're going to start with, oh boy, it's always, I don't know why it always goes to the end. It drives me nuts. All right. So, a water around the world. Today we are going to be reading another new text, and that new text takes place in around the world in a different place than the last couple of places we've been reading about. Definitely, we're centered around places in Africa. Today we're moving on to a different place. So, our learning targets that we are going to be focusing on, they should sound familiar to you because we've been working on them all week long, and you are so able to do them. Mr. Logan, let's go ahead and turn around, all your whole body listening for me. Thank you. Our first learning target, I can explain the literal and non-literal meanings of words and phrases. So remember, literal means exact. It means exactly what it says. And non-literal means it's not literal, right? So that means that it's not using the word in the exact way that we would normally think that word is being used. So we are going to read a text. It's called Dry Days in Australia. And for my friends who are remote, there is a PDF that's attached to the assignment. I'll show you where it is. Don't open it yet, but that's where you will be reading from. Everybody who is in person will get a packet that has all of the reading to it. And part of that, part of one of the questions definitely asks you what a word means in this particular way. And you're going to have to decide, is it a literal meaning or is it a non-literal meaning? That's not the choice you're going to pick, but you're going to look at it and say, what does this word in this case really mean? Is it being literal, non-literal, and which way does that word being used? So you are also going to do what we've been doing, of course, for the last week. We've been looking at our different ways to have to compare our viewpoints with the authors. So the author has a point of view that they're going to express throughout the reading today. And you are going to decide, you're going to compare, which remember, compare means to decide if something is similar, the same, or different. So you're going to think about, what is the author here feeling? What is their point of view from this person in Australia? And is your view similar, the same, and why? Or is it different? And then why? So think back to our sentence that we've used for the last week. My viewpoint is similar, same, different than the authors. And then that important word that came next was because. And then you need to explain why. So that's part of your answer today, not just whether it's the same or different, but why it's the same or different. Okay. So today you're going to be reading about a challenge somebody is facing with water in Australia. And very shortly, we're going to pass out the materials, but I just wanted to give you again a little sense of where Australia is compared to us. So we're over here. This is Australia. We've been mostly dealing with places in Africa, right? We had Malawi earlier in the week, and then Angola, which is over here. And yesterday, I realized I forgot to show you the map yesterday for Angola, but it's very similar to Malawi. It's just over here. And so we're going to be talking about some places in Australia. So again, someplace different, but far away, dealing with our water crisis. As you are reading today, you are going to be close readers. You guys did an excellent job of doing that yesterday, going back to the text, reading carefully, reading small chunks, thinking about what is this text mostly about, looking at words you're not sure about, and using either the context, the words around it, affixes, looking at, does it have an ending? Does it have a beginning? Does it have a prefix or a suffix that helps me figure out what it means? Like the word non-literal. We knew that the word literal means one thing, non-literal. So we took the non means not. We know that that helps us understand. Root words. If you look within a word and look at, like that we had yesterday, one of the words was sustainability. Big word. But we can look and say, sustain is inside that. What does that, do I know what that means? And then if it says sustainability, what could be my word? We're not using dictionaries today, but that normally when we are just in our everyday work, we can use a dictionary if we're really stumped. We're going to make sure that we go back to the text to find the evidence for our answers. Today, Mrs. Harrison is not reading your material. You are doing this on your own. You are so capable of reading this material. And it's Mrs. Aubin and I have to release you to remember we're going to be fourth graders, and those fourth grade teachers are not going to be reading the material for you. They're going to be expecting you to be able to read it, find the information inside it. Now, that doesn't mean that if you raise your hand and you're to ask Mrs. Avenari a question, that we won't be able to, that we won't help you through something if you're struggling with it, okay? Because that's also not what we're doing here. We want you to do this as best independently as you can, but we also don't want you to be super frustrated. So if you do get to something, please ask us. We'll help you as much as we can, but we want you to try this independently because we know you can do it. All right. So keeping in mind what close readers do, don't forget that when we have multiple choice questions or what we call selected response questions, remember to read the question carefully. Remember how Mrs. Ware reminded us of that on Wednesday? Read the question slowly and carefully and make sure you know what it's asking for. Because sometimes I think you guys think you know what the question is and then answer. And then if further in the question, there might be some more information that you need. So read the whole question. Then remember, I want you to think about the question before you look at the options. Try to see if you can use your good brain waves to answer it before you look at the choices. Then go ahead and look at those options and see which one best matches yours. But do read all of the answers, right? Sometimes there's an answer that's great toward the beginning, but sometimes there's an answer that's even better lower below. So make sure you read all of the answers. And for those who are in person, you're going to be able to cross off. My friends at home who have the remote, the Google form, you'll have to mentally sort of cross off the answers that don't make sense, and then choose the one that best matches what the question's asking for, right? And if you can go back to the text and make sure and go, oh, there it is, and put your finger on it, explicitly find that information, then you can feel really calm and cool and collected that your answer is what you intended and you know that that's the right one. All right, so we know that this reading is fairly long. It's not super hard, but it is kind of long. And there are some words you're going to get to that may or may not be words you've seen before. And most of them have to do with places. Remember yesterday when I was reading about some places in Angola and the Malawi, I was reading from the book, The Boy, who harnessed the wind. They had some hard words, but they were places, right? Or they were words that's a little bit about what he was talking. I don't expect you to be able, so don't get caught up in places words. Just read the best you can and move on, all right? When it comes to the names of places. Mrs. Harrison and Mrs. Aubin don't always know how to pronounce them exactly either. Just do the best you can. And if they have the pronunciation inside some, and we'll talk about this a little bit more next week, inside some parentheses, then just sound it out as best as you can and move on. Because that's probably not what the question is going to be about anyway, all right? Perseverance, that's what you're going to show me today. You're going to work hard and do your best, even though it's hard. And you're going to say some things to yourself, right? You're going to use that self-talk that Mrs. Ware was talking about. There might be a question, you're like, oh, it's a hard one. Well, you're struggling, but it's important to do, it's important learning, it's important practice. I can do this. Or if you're really struggling, you raise your hand and Mrs. Aubin and I can help you with that. Okay, that's a good thing to do. Sometimes toward some things we just want to be done. You see somebody else is done, you're like, it's my turn. I see it. Ben's already done, and Leo's already done, and I just want to be done. So then you just race through the rest. Is that really what we should be doing? No, because we should do our best through the whole thing, right? Keep working. So I do have an activity for you to work on for when you finish this test. And I'm not going to talk a lot about it. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's an assignment that is attached, or it's not even going to show up for a couple minutes anyway. So when you're finished with this and you're done with your test and you've rechecked and it's the best you can possibly make it, then you're going to have something else to work on. All right. And it's actually, and it's going to give you some chance to explore and look at some things that I hope that you can build some more schema about this water crisis before we start writing about it. Okay. So that's an activity that you're going to do when you're done. But please don't rush at the end because you see somebody else has already moved on. That's not a good strategy. Okay. All right. So again, here's your learning targets. I'm hoping that I'm going to have everybody's thumbs up at the end. I can explain the literal and non-literal meanings of words and phrases in this reading, and I can compare the author's point of view to my own point of view. All right, I'm going to ask if Mrs. Aubin could help me pass out. First, I'm going to, while she's passing out, if you pass out maybe the reading first, and then we can do the test itself. I'm just going to show you, my friends at home, I'm going to show you where you're going to find all of your materials today. And then I will show really quickly everybody who's got the form that's Mrs. Aubin is passing out. So my friends at home, you're going to look under this week. It says EL assessment for Friday. All right. And so I'm just going to show you really quickly because it hasn't posted yet. Do this after you complete the test. Do you see it? EL for Friday. Do this after you complete the test. It's not up yet, but it will be something that you can do when we're finished. So my friends at home, we're up right here. Dry days in Australia. You click on it. It's going to be a PDF. You can scroll all the way down. It's kind of long, I know, but you guys can do this. And at the bottom, it's got a glossary. Okay, Ben, do you see the glossary at the bottom here? So you guys can read all of that. And it also has your Google form that's right here. All right, right next to it. Don't start answering questions yet because you're going to have to do some reading first. All right. Okay, so let me show my friends who are here. Oh boy. All right, my friends who are here. Oh, our voices are not on yet. Hold on. Yeah. Yep. All right, so it's coming. Maybe today, maybe not. Let's try it again. All right, I want to make sure that I show everybody some things before. So you can put your name on this. I will be collecting it because we need it later. So if you put your name on it, that's fine. If you don't, why is it not opening my dog camera? Sorry. No, that's great. We'll just have to pass them back again at another time. That's fine. It actually probably is better that way. All right, so I want to show everybody, and my friends at home, the one that's on the PDF might look slightly different, but they are almost they're identical in every other way, except for pages. So directions: read Dry Days in Australia and answer the questions that follow. We haven't handed you the questions yet. That's on a separate page. All right. So I want you to make sure that you see on the second page. Do you see this part right here that says "at a glance"? Everybody turn to that second page. So you do need to read that section. It's called a sidebar. You need to read that sidebar as well. August, you're looking at the sidebar. That's on the second page. So it is separate from the article. There's two of them. There are two sidebars. There's one that's called At a Glance, and there's one that's called Teen Diary. All right. So there's the main article, and then there are two sidebars. Don't forget to read the sidebars. They don't have to be read exactly in the, like when you finish this page, you can continue on with your work and then go back to the sidebars. But do you see how the sidebars are separate? They are different. They are different materials. So you can read them after you finish the other stuff, but you do need to read both of them because there are some questions about them, okay? The very last page has some words to know. It has its own little glossary. All right, so everybody look at that back page. It has down under and it has drought. Mr. August, last page, last page. Everybody see the glossary. You may need to use the glossary to help you with your writing question or your question that has to do. All right, so you need to read all 4 pages before you try to answer anything. So now Mrs. Aubin is going to pass out the actual questions. Poor Mrs. Aubin, she's getting our steps in today. All right, so there are only 6 questions. So that tells you that each one is super important, right? The less amount of questions, the more important each one is, right? To get your grade. So almost all of them have you read a certain sentence again and then answer a question. It's important that you read the whole article first. Read the whole, all 4 pages before you try to answer anything. All right. And then it lists some more sentences, asks you some more questions. On the back side, it is going to ask you a question about the point of view. Then it's going to ask you, right? We knew it was going to happen. How is Ellie's point of view about saving water the same or different from your own? Not our Ellie, Ellie in the article. All right, so they give you this many lines. Does that mean I need more of an answer than 3 words? Yes, that's a clue to you that I need full sentences, full answers. And my friends at home, you obviously have a short answer area. You're just going to type in your answer in there. All right, and then there's a question number 6. There are only 6 questions. So it's important that you really work hard on each of those questions, all right? Because they each count for a little more than when we have less questions. All right, so my friends at home are going to make sure, again, I'm going to make sure that you, oh, that is not what I wanted, that they have. Here we are. So you can have 2, you can have your form open on one tab, and you can have on the other tab, you can have your PDF, so you can go back and forth. I'm going to make sure that you see that you can do that. You can have your reading here, and you can make that reading bigger if you want. If you're having trouble reading it, friends, remember you can zoom in. See that plus sign? You can zoom in there, my friends, if it's hard to read. All right, so you're going to read that, and then you can, and then here's a different tab I have with today's assignment, with those questions. Same exact questions we have. And here is that area where you are going to talk about your viewpoint. Okay, so when you complete this, you are going to check in with Mrs. Aubin and I, and we will give you permission to move on to the next thing. All right, the next item. Take as much time as you want. The other section is not an assignment. All right. There isn't something you have to get done on the other side when you finish. So please take as much time as you need. All right. I want you to do a better job on the assessment than to speed through and get to the next part. All right. The other part is really great because it builds good schema about new information, but it's also something you might see next week and you might be able to look at it next week. So don't rush. Does anybody have any questions about this before I let you get started? Miss Abby, I hope you're listening. Logan. So it does say page 12, and I don't really honestly know why, because they don't give me a page 12 to give to you. So most of those, when it says page 12, is within the, it's just within the story. The pages don't match. I noticed that when it talked about the one with 90%, hugging the coasts, that's on your 3rd page where it says page 316. That sentence is under using less. So if you need to, so I totally apologize. I don't know why they put that there because it doesn't match your reading for sure. All right, Mr. Lennox, did you have a question too, bud? That was the same question. It was a good one, by the way. That's a super good question because it does not match, and I don't know why. Anything else, or are we feeling good? Okay, remember, use all of your strategies. You guys are amazing. Show us how smart you are because you guys are totally ready. Okay, so if you are ready to begin, go ahead and so put the test underneath. Do not be answering questions until you read the whole article. Again, if you're having anything you're struggling with, let us know and we can help you. All right, go ahead and get started then. You have the whole rest of the time. Yes. Oh.
Yeah, this is going to be. Is it heavy or who's the two? Oh, but no, no, just do you want her to take 30 minutes? This is going to take 8 minutes. Not so good to use. Yeah, that's what I heard. I have an extra.
Yeah, no, you got it. She's good. She's good.
Well, just so you have to get it.
That's good too. Thank you.
Oh, and no. No. Yeah. No, okay, let me call the office. So you read all 4 things and the sidebars. No, okay, that's what I want you to do. I just put that away for now. Read all 4 pages. The sidebars before. Nobody should be answering any questions yet. You have to read all 4 pages and those sidebars. Do not be answering questions yet. There's plenty to read carefully before you move on. Well, no, I think that one is a 90% right there. Not necessarily. It is the case, though, but this is just happens to be. But this one, there's something to really is already here, but you don't necessarily. Right, so did you read the whole 4 pages yet? Okay, I want you to read all 4 pages first, and then we'll chat. You can look for that. All 4 pages. All 4 pages. Okay, nobody should be answering any questions yet. Read all 4 pages first. Elena, can I help you? Okay, so that's where you raise your hand and Mr. Pearson comes and thank you. Which one? Encouraging. Perfect. You care if I do that real quick? Nope, you did it. I got, so far I'm so good. So this is the goal. pictures of your hand. Just wave at me.
And you guys can let me know if you have a question or anything, okay? I'm here. I walk away a little bit, then I come back. So if you need me, let me know.
You're out.
I would read all of the article first and then go back and read those sidebars, because you don't want to get confused. The last one, the sidebar. So, open the first. Side, rocket, and right? Right, okay. I would just give it seconds right here.
Good question. So did you read the whole article? Did you read the back part too? Yeah, it's more on the back. And then go back and finish this one, then go back and read this one. Then. All right. Now. Still use this. Go back to that. Just like you did yesterday, right? Go back to that. So there. I don't know. I really want to know how long this is. Because it's pink stuff. There is a pink stuff. So we need to do this. The first one. Perfect.
So when it says at page 12, the bottom of the second page has, and I'm happy to show you, bottom of the second page has the first question in it. And then there's the next, on page third page that has, I'm happy to show you where that is when you get there and you want to reread. I can show you. Right. This goes with these. Okay, so yes, it goes with number 3. So read A, B, C, and D. Yes.
But then I turned it over, erased it, and then.
Yeah, actually, that's a great thing to remind everybody. I forgot to remind you on the questions, on the question page. If you look at the bottom one, number 3, it has A and B. Do we ever just give you A and B choices? And on the back is C and D. So you have to read A, B, C, and D before you make a choice, right?
That's what I did.
What do you mean? If I suggested it would look different.
Maybe it is.
It could be, but you gotta read all the options before you make a choice, right? Did you read everything first? No. Okay, you went through all of this, and read, and the whole article, and then read the 2 sidebars, and the back. You have to make an issue. First one is right in this section here. Yes, ma'am?
that one, but this one? I don't know what their page 12 looks like, but it must be pretty long. You know where that one is? Really impressed with the focus. Good job. Anybody need me over here? Yes, Ben. Yes, Ben. I'm here, Ben.
I finished my test.
Oh, wait a second. Let me do it. Say again one more time, Ben.
I finished my test.
Okay. Did you double check it? And did you get you checked it all, my friend? And you like it? Okay. So let me look.
I finished too.
Okay. Let me just make sure all things are answered before you guys, and then I'm going to have, don't leave yet because you're going to do the next part for me. All right, let me just see. All right. Okay, so you're going to go to, my friends are going to go, I'm still sharing my screen here. So you're going to go to classroom, and let me go back to the assignments. Do you see where I am, Ben? And then you're going to go to where it says do this after you complete the test. And then you're going to click on it, and it's going to give you 2 links. And I want you to spend some time here. I'll click on the first one. See, this one has a bunch of different things you can click on to learn about. All right. You see all of these are links, and I would like you to spend some time. And there's even an arrow for some more. There's one hiding over here. All right. So that's one link. And then I would like you to spend some time on that. And then this one is 100 ways to conserve water. So I would spend some time here with this one first and then with this one. But I just want you to play around with them a little bit, okay? But I want you to stay with me. All right. Stay with me. All right. Jensen, you good? You see where we are? Okay, good. All right. All right. I'm going to walk away, but I'll be back. I promise. Double check it all. Sure. So it says, this is a sprinkler one. Here's the part that maybe reread these two. Cody had to do this one. Maybe read those through again and see if now. That's what I would do. Explain the answers, but I can give you if you completed the reading, that's when you can work on the test. That's to complete the reading first. If you are completed, then that one can. Well, because it's an article, it's a report. So somebody might have written that she wrote. So, and then so when you have a review, you have like 6 minutes to go to the topic. They write. As a reporter, say exactly like the person didn't speak it correctly, so sometimes they have to add in a word which they is the interview. It's not really what he said, but it won't make sense. So that's that. You're probably right.
Mrs. Harrison,
All right, I'll be right there, Charlie, for 2 seconds.
Yes, Miss Haley.
I'm all done.
Okay, let me just double check.
Should I turn it in?
You may, and then I will check on it when it see that I get it. Go ahead and submit. Did you check over? There you are. I see it. Good job. All right. So Miss Haley, now you're going to go back. You're going to go back to Google Classroom, and you're going to find where it says do this after you complete the test, and it gives you 2 links, and you're going to just play around a little bit. This is to build some schema for next week. All right.
Okay.
So it's fun. It's fun stuff, and there's no assignment. So.
Okay.
All right. Double checked it? Triple checked it? You have your name on it? Yeah. Good. Okay. So, thank you. Go ahead and work. So you got to send it to do after. You're all finished. You double check them? Yeah. You want the way you want it. Okay. Okay. Perfect. But I don't have to spiel again. I'm going to actually put both pieces of paper if you're finished. But you're going to need that other one later. Perfect. All right. So you checked it over? Yep. Exactly how you want it? Okay. All right. You checked it over? Exactly how you want it? All right. So go ahead and go to where it says do this after today's assignment. All right. Did you double check it? Yep. Triple check it? Quadruple check it?
I didn't quadruple check it, or triple check it, but I double check it.
All right. I'll take that. All right. So you do realize there were 2 more answers on this one, on the back? I go with this one? You're sure you wanted B? Did you look at, I mean, I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying, did you read all 4 of those answers? Before you made a choice one? Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, so you're going to go to where there's it says do this after the assessment?
Yeah.
And on Google Classroom, do this week, and then you're going to have 2 links. And you can kind of do some discovering on those 2 links.
So what?
This week. It's April 9th, or 5th through 9th, and it looks like this. It says do this after.
All right.
Yep. Double check? Triple check? Quadruple check? All right. Thank you, sir. Okay, so then you're going to find the assignments that looks like this one. Do this after the test, and then there are 2 links. You're going to click on them, and do some discovering. Build some schema for next week.
I read the first one and this was.
Hey, I should be hearing any voices other than the people whom I'm speaking to. We all have things to do. Check it. Okay. So I'd like you to go to, there's an assignment that says do this authors, and it's under the group, it's like that, good night. There's two links, play with them a little bit, and just do some good schema building for next week. Okay, good. Yeah. Oh, wow. So we need to make some more line now? You could do it. Do you want to try your tips? Yeah, I hear you speak on your name on the ring. Yep, good. So if you want, the revision assignment. So see this after the session. Okay, tonight, work on, click on for those. Okay. Love that. Smart, right? Like that, take your time and read this. Okay, so now this is the time to go find the assignment that says, do this after the session, 2 weeks, and you're building schema for that. So play around. So I think there is one that makes noise, so, you could, it would read it to you as well, so you start these down. Out of, double check them. All right, take that to them. All right, and then your assignment is tonight. Yes, after the. Work on that. Oh, I just didn't. So the idea is that this is what you should do. We'll go to.
So, occasionally the thing is popping up when you get to the websites that says, like, sign up for a newsletter. Ignore that, just click the X. It just is encouraging you to try to, join their newsletters. So just don't worry about that. But I would like you to really investigate, look, learn, because you're trying to add schema for things you're going to write about next week. The more you can read about it and learn things, the better. You could. Double check, double check it. Okay, so then you can work on the assignment.
Mrs. Harrison,
Yes, Leo.
I'm done.
All right, let me just double check that you're, oh, there it is. There you are. Okay, my friend. Perfect. So what I would like you to do now is you're just going to go, and I'd like you to stay and just work on, so there's this assignment here. It says do this after you complete the test. And so there's a couple different places to click on and things to learn in those areas. And we're just building schema for next week when we start writing. All right, so just play around with those, but stick with me. Okay.
Okay.
There's a video. I don't have any.
I have lost that down there. They're clean. I've cleaned them. You really take good care to double check them and make sure they're healthy. Can you double check one more? We've got to get in the habit of that. That's what we're going to ask you to do when you take those other two tests. Okay, so this is that question that has to do with literal and non-literal. Does the word really mean what it sounds like, or is it different? So I'll show you where it is in the story. Writing here, no, that's what you can. Sorry, done. here. So I will reread that paragraph and see how hugging is used in this case. Okay? Okay. Need any help? Okay. That's your turn. You got the one you want? Okay. Making sure I can read. Okay. So then give me your reading, your writing as well. Okay. Can I have both papers? Can I have the pocket as well? We're gonna use that later. We're gonna use it again later. Okay. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for taking your time. I appreciate that. Okay. So in here, there's an art send do this after. We've got a couple links to play around, but try to get some steam on it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for taking your time. Double check them all. Do a close your eyes, make sure they're the ones you wanted. Okay. All right. Thank you for taking your time. I appreciate it. So, right, you have to do next, Mr. Robert? Perfect. Great. You double check everything? Have all the answers you want to have? Okay. Good. And so you're just gonna go under, this week, April 5th through 9th, you're gonna click on, do this after the assessment, and it's got a couple little weeks and you can score. So there are some videos that we can.
So what's page 12?
So I showed you where it was this time. So don't worry, so you were looking on this one? Okay, on the last page. I don't know how, they must have gotten the whole entire article on one page. Because they start right here, maybe where it talks about. So I will reread that paragraph before you turn it into the question. Thank you for taking your time. I appreciate that. Especially since we're working on double checking and rereading and being careful. Thank you so much. Good job. Excellent. Okay, so there's the assignment under April 5th through 9th. Do this after the test, just explore. There's a couple of links. You can just choose. Explore. Thank you very much, Maren. Page 10, we're all doing this in challenge. There's those of you who are taking the test. Okay, our voices are loud. Make sure that you're also supposed to be. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was looking for things. But then now you realize you didn't have to. He's going back to double check it for me. I'm so proud of him. Oh, good. Yeah, that's here. You have to do that a lot. Every time I'm doing something, that's hard. About it now, I know, right? And you and I'm proud of you for going back and double checking. So good job. Okay, so there's You like it? Yep. Yeah. And I really want to know that was on top of well, you know, they were all presentations. Right. Yeah. And what about it? Yeah. Yeah, so, Zooming, yeah, because she was here yesterday, which doesn't hurt. Okay. I haven't really- I don't know if he's fine, but just- I will. Yeah. You guys filling your heads with the schema? Yes. Fill your heads with some good information you can use for the future, some good schema. Yes. Have a whole lot of time, real quick. Okay, then, I think you should want something else. I think you probably used that one, and used that one enough. I want to fill your head with some good information. Hey, no, instead of these steps, yep, once you've done it a couple of times, move on to everything. So you landed 25 times in water. That's 100%. You landed on land, then it would be half. Why did they write this? Yep, this is what it's called. So it wants to know every kind of I'm glad you figured it out.
Hi, my friends at home. How we doing? Is everybody getting some good schema about what yeah, I see Leo says, yeah. That fun stuff. All right, my friends. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go because I know that if you can continue working on, I mean, this is kind of fun. There's a lot of cool things on here. So if you want to continue with those, you certainly can. But I'm going to go ahead and end our time, and I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, my friends.